Okay, so I've been using Prime Market Terminal for about 2 to 3 weeks now, and yeah, I think I have enough experience with this software to give a review so far of what my experience has been, what I like, what I don't like, what I think can improve, and so forth. So Prime Market Terminal, if you don't know, it's basically a software. It's more focused on currencies. So if you do a lot of forex trading, this software is excellent. But you also have things you can do analysis on commodities and equities and so forth. So this software is just a terminal basically where you can analyze markets and you get everything market related. So with that being said, let's get into the review. So this software, it has templates that you can use, and yeah, I've made a lot of templates that I use. Yeah, so this template that you're looking at now is overview. So as soon as I open Prime Market Terminal, this is the first thing that I see, and this is my custom made page. So we have two currency strength index, which is a 1 day and 7 day. So this here is showing the currency strength for the dollar, yen, pound, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. It's all color coded for the past day, and we can see that the Australian dollar has been the weakest, followed by the yen. The US dollar has gained some strength along with the pound. So over the past day, you can see everything that is happening in the currency market. And then over here is the same thing but for 7 days. So this is the currency strength for the past 7 days, and you see basically all the major currencies. So I don't have Europe, Swiss franc, and New Zealand dollar because I don't trade those, and it makes this looks a bit chunky. So you can remove those. So here are the currencies that I trade over the past 7 days, and you can see the strength, so you can get a good overview. And here we have seasonality. Now I don't use seasonality to trade currencies because yeah, I don't think seasonality is just really random. I use seasonality more for things like oil, gold, and Nasdaq. But for currencies, I don't use seasonality. But if you do, you can maybe look for a pattern. So you can see that in November, the dollar yen for the past 4 years, it has basically finished negative every month, almost every year in the past 4 years. So yeah, you can look at that. You can probably find trends, but I don't really use seasonality for our currencies. And then here you have an overview of all the news events that will be taking place this week. So on Monday, we can see that we have the RBA meeting. It tells you everything that you need to know about this meeting. It tells you a strengthening scenario for the Australian dollar. So if we get a hawkish rate cut, this will strengthen the Australian dollar. Then on Tuesday, it tells you that you have the UK job report at 2 a.m. It tells you everything you need to expect, strengthening scenario, weakening scenario, and it basically has all of that for every currency. So on Tuesday, again, we have Canadian CPI, gives you the overview. On Wednesday, we have UK CPI, Australian job report. On Thursday, we have Japan CPI. So it basically gives you a summary of everything important for the current week that we're in. So this right here, I like to look at it just to give me an overview, as this template suggests, as to what's coming this week. So that's the first template that I use. And this is just my main page. Next, and something I talk about a lot on this channel, is the COT data section. So you have institutional positioning, and this section, if you know what COT data is, it basically displays COT data in a very, very easy to understand, easy to analyze manner of sorts. So we can see we have institutional positioning, you have the dollar, you have the yen, pound, and all that stuff. So if you like to trade the commitment of traders report, this right here has literally everything you need. So that's asset managers / institutional positioning. I also have uh leveraged funds positioning. So these are like hedge funds and banks and so forth, but I don't really like to look at this. I only use it for confirmation, really. So this is basically the same thing as asset managers. Everything is the same, but it's just that we're not looking at institutional positioning, we're looking at leveraged funds positioning. So I don't really like to analyze leverage funds. I only use this for a confirmation. So if institutional money is long or short, like let me give you an example. At the moment, institutional money is long on the yen. They are building longs. And if we look at leverage funds positioning, let me refresh this, we can see that there are also increasing longs on the yen. So I would use this as confirmation to say that institutional money is increasing longs on the yen, and leverage funds is also increasing longs on the yen. So that would be a confirmation that the yen at the moment may be strong, and the trend is also strong. So that's kind of what I use this page for. But it's COT data, just the same, just a different branch or whatever. Next we have retail positioning, and this was a feature that I actually used a lot when I just got this software, but after analyzing it I realized what it really is, and and really and truly this isn't really useful in my opinion, because you cannot really use it to forecast future price movement. So this is positioning of retail traders, and I'm assuming that they got this data from some broker, because I remember I was looking at something and it said 79% of traders that they get this information from lose money. So they're probably getting this data from a broker or something. But the reason why you use retail positioning as a contrarian signal is simply because whenever the market is going down, retail traders are buying, and whenever the market is going up, retail traders are selling. So they're basically trying to catch tops and bottom. So that's basically what retail positioning is. It doesn't really give you any insights into the market. You can just look at a trend. If a trend is going up, you can know that retail traders are short, and if the trend is going down, retail traders are long. This is all retail positioning is. So it doesn't really give you any real valuable insights. It just tells you how retail traders are positioning, which, as I said, retail traders simply, they just go against the trend. So this is called dumb money index. As I said, I don't use it much. I used to, but then I realized what it really is. But yeah, if you are maybe like a short-term trader or something, I guess you can. I look at the daily bar. If you're a short-term trader, like you hold trades for like just a few hours, you can maybe come in here and go on every hour, so you see how retail traders are positioning for every hour, and then you just basically go against this, I guess. But as I said, I don't use this feature much again, because it's simply just showing when retail traders are going against a trend. So that's retail positioning. Next, you have news, and this is actually a feature that I use a lot, and I use it every day, and this feature is actually really good. It basically makes market make sense. So we can look at for instance, right here. So this was a market mover. As you can see, it has a red exclamation mark. So whenever it has this, it usually means that it's a important news event. And by the way, this is just, as it says, a real-time news tracker. So this is tracking news in real time as it's happening, and it's updating, right? So at 9:28, we can see that we had a news that said Zelensky is canceling trip to Saudi Arabia for following whatever. So this is just a sign that, hey, geopolitical tensions may not be easing as markets expect. And this was at 9:28. And if we look at the charts, let's look at the Nasdaq, because this would be a good measure. If we look at the Nasdaq at 9, the selling started happening at 9:25, and obviously this is not as quick as quants and those big banks who are spending billions of dollars and tracking news live. So this selling started happening at 9:45. So if you were trading Nasdaq and you This is the 5 minute chart. You see all of the selling, right? This is unusual. Like a gap down with no news and 0.64% sell off in like 20 minutes. There's probably something happening. So you could come to this news tracker here and see that, oh, this this sell-off right here was because of this news right here, right? So this is kind of what you use this news for. Whenever I see huge movements in the market, and it doesn't even have to be huge moves, sometimes you see some small news events and in the moment it doesn't really have a big impact, but later on it does. So I kind of use this news tab as a way to, see what's happening in the world, what's moving the markets and so forth, because at the end of the day, the markets move intraday a lot based on these small news events that are taking place, that people look on, they make sure they execute this and that and whatnot, right? So that's kind of the news section. I use this a lot. I use it every day, and yeah, one of my favorite tabs in this. Next, we have fundamental data. This was a feature that I liked when I just started to use the software, but I'm not sure how accurate this feature is. Plus, I manually do this myself, and I like doing this manually because a lot of these stuff are subjective and they're nuanced, but this is just basically like, it gives you a summary. So we have US dollar here, so you can see that USD, it looks at the fundamental data and it says that the fundamental data right now is bullish for the US dollar. It looks at bank research, so Goldman Sachs is bearish on the dollar, MUFG is bullish, Citibank is neutral, HSBC is bearish, JP Morgan is bullish, and it gives you a summary and it says that banks are basically overall bullish, hedge funds positioning bullish, retail positioning neutral, monetary policy, and then it gives you a summary and says that overall USD is bullish. But as I said, I personally don't use this feature a lot because when it comes to analyzing the markets, there's just a lot of subjectivity, and I wouldn't want some AI or something to like automatically do research and then come back to me with a bullish bias or something, because as I said, the markets are very subjective, and yeah, I want to do that analysis myself. But it gives you a good overview as to how sentiment is in the markets at the moment. So the yen, it's bullish at the moment. The Canadian dollar bearish, the pound neutral. So yeah, it gives you a decent sentiment. But as I said, I don't really use this a lot again. When I just got this software, I used to use it a lot, but not again, because it's it's not really my style basically. And then lastly, this is something that I have actually been working on today. This is what I'm planning to use for macro analysis. So I already have a little software here that I use to analyze economic data, because the way I put this data together, I just don't see any software that organizes economic data like this. So US economic data, for example, organize it in labor market, organize it in inflation, productivity, and housing, and then it shows you previous, forecast, current, most. So the way that I analyze this data, I do this manually, and there's just no software that does this. So this in a sense, it kind of gives you an overview of the economy. So as I said, it's not complete as it, but you have USA, you have Japan, which I haven't added anything yet, but you can see that it just has the macroeconomic data, and it has a 6 month or 9 month. You can change that, so you can come here and you can select the range for 12 month, 3 month, whatever, but I select 9 months. So over the past 9 months, you can see how NFP has been trending. So we can see that in June it was 89k, then in July it was 142, in October it was 36, and you can just basically see the trend of NFP over the past 9 months. You have unemployment rate. You can see that the unemployment rate has basically fell over the past 9 months. You can see wages has basically been stable, and yeah, you can just basically look at the history of the macroeconomic data. So this is a page that I actually found out yesterday. I found out about yesterday because there's so many features in this software, by the way. So I was actually browsing through the features and I came across this one, and this is really nice, and you can customize it. So let's say I want to add something else. Let's say I want to go to the US and I want to add prices. Let's say I want to look at inflation. So I can look at core producer prices. So I think this is PPI, if I'm not wrong. So let's say I want to look at core producer prices year over year for the US. I can just click add, and there you have core PPI year over year that you can look on the history of the data and so forth. But as I said, I'm just setting up this section. It's not complete. One thing I wish you could do with this section is, like, I wish you could delete. So once you add, like for example, you add core PPI, there's no option to like delete it or arrange it. And I also wish you could put this in sections. So like how I have my economic data, I put it in labor market, inflation and productivity and so forth. I wish you could do something similar. So you could have like a category, labor market, inflation, and then you just basically categorize them and also color code them as well. So there's a lot of improvements I see could be made with this feature, but I mean, it's a great feature to just look at the trend of macroeconomic data, and you can add different countries. So it's not complete, but I'm planning to do the same with Japan and so forth. So that's the macroeconomic section. And as I said, those are the features that I mostly use. And oh, how can I forget? You have research and analyst report. So research right here, this is my most used feature. I haven't even checked this since the day has begun. I need to check this and read some of this, but this basically has research, and most of these research, they are private. They are not things that are publicly available on the internet. So most of these research are research from banks. So Goldman Sachs, RBC Capital, UniCredit, MUFG, JP Morgan, and these are private. These are sent to investors and clients of the banks, and you are able to read all of this. So you have like morning rundown. You can see what Goldman Sachs are thinking about in the market. They are sending their analysis of the S&P and whatever and this and that. You can basically look at all of these stuff right here, right? So I mean, this is a game changer for me. As I said, this is the feature that I use the most. So this is a research section, and next you have analysis report, and this is also good. I don't really use the section a lot, but this is also a really good section that sometimes when I need some clarity on the market, I will just come to this section. So before every New York open, London open, Asia open, and after every Asia close, London close, and New York close, you get a summary of what happened, what moves the market, what's probably going to move. So I mean, this right here, you have the world at your fingertips. So we can see at the end of London session, it has a London session recap. So you can open this and it basically tells you everything that happened in the London session with equities, FX, fixed income, commodities, European data, central banks, geopolitics, North American data. And they do this every day. So this is a summary of everything that happened in the market in the European session and what's happening. So if you need, and I actually need to save this because as I said, I actually read these sometimes to get clarity on the market. So you can read what's happening on the market at London close, and then you have US opening. So it tells you what to prepare for in the US opening. You can read here, see what they're saying, and it's just a lot of stuff that you will never be lost or confused in the markets again, because you just basically have all of these information. So this is the analyst report, right? So that's a very cool feature there. And yeah, that's basically all the features that I use. Now, there are a lot more features of the software. I can head to this section, and if I click this, This is basically all the features. So you have, for example, seasonality. You can click this and you can see a bunch of different seasonality data. You have patterns. So this is more for maybe intraday traders, but I'm a swing trader. So the features that I show you, they align with people who may be swing traders. But if you're an intraday trader, you can use features like this range. You can open this. It shows you price target, bank trades, bank targets, session range, and all of those stuff. Entry tools. You can also use this currency trend correlation matrix. It would take me a whole day just to go through all of these features. Insiders, so you can, if you trade stocks or whatever, you can see what insiders are doing. Order flow, so if you trade order flow, you can look at footprint, market depth, and all that stuff. What else? You just have so much things. Volatility, you can analyze volatility and all that stuff. So there's just a bunch of feature in the software, and I have been using this for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I still haven't went through all of these features myself. So if you want the software, the link is available in the description to get the software. It's an amazing tool as a trader. This is just a must-have, in my opinion. I'm going to go on a limb and say it, but this is an amazing Bloomberg alternative. Obviously, you have to pay $25,000 a year for Bloomberg, so it's not Bloomberg, but for retail traders, this is the closest you can get to Bloomberg. As a retail trader, I don't think you need anything more than this software to be profitable. So that's my review of the software, 2 to 3 weeks of use so far. And I mean, it's simply amazing. I love this software and I would recommend it to anyone. So yeah, if you want to get this software, check the link in the description or the comments. And yeah, peace. Trade safe.